The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon or good morning, depending where you're joining us from. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Brad Martz. I work in the Education Department at NRCA. Today's webinar is a presentation by Heidi Ellsworth and is part 3 of a 4-part series on sales and marketing for your roofing business. Today's discussion will focus on turning your customers into promoters to increase your leads and sales. A few notes about our presenter if you're not already familiar with Heidi. Heidi Ellsworth has worked in the roofing industry for more than 20 years. She recently launched HJE Consulting Group, which focuses on supporting overall marketing strategies and implementation, along with providing consulting to build strong collaboration between sales and marketing teams for business profitability and success. Heidi serves on the boards of the Western States Roofing Contractors Association, as well as the Florida Roofing and Sheet Metal Contractors Association, and she also recently helped found the National Women in Roofing Association, where she serves as chairperson for the organization. By the way, NRCA now offers its contractor members sales and marketing consultation through HJE Consulting, and these members now have the opportunity for a 30-minute consultation call with Heidi, supported by ongoing sales and marketing articles, webinars, and seminars. Before I turn it over to Heidi, I want to point out that on your control panel, there is a place for you to enter questions if you have them for Heidi. You should have a text box there, a chat box or questions box in which you can enter questions. Heidi will address those at the end of her presentation. Also, this presentation is being recorded, so if you would like to watch it again with some of your colleagues at a later date, it will be posted to the NRCA website sometime next week. That's enough for me, Heidi, so I will let you take it from here.
Thank you, Brad, and thank you all for attending today. I'm very honored to be able to present these webinars with the NRCA and to be a consultant for them and offering the consulting services. So today, we're going to be talking about creating promoters. In our last couple webinars, we've talked about gathering leads and then how to work to close that sale. But today, we're going to talk about really how do you make long-term promoters? How do you get long-term brand loyalty for your company? And I'm excited to share a lot of that with you. But first of all, we would like to do a poll. Brad's going to help me, and we'd like you all to fill it out quickly if you can on the type of business that you're in, because that kind of helps as I go through to know if you're mostly commercial, residential, or a combination of both. So we'll give you 2 seconds or a little bit longer than that to fill out the poll.
We're getting some good participation here. Nearly everyone has voted, Heidi, so I'm going to close the poll in 3, 2, 1. And it looks like what we have here, we have 65% of our attendees on the call are 100% commercial. 10% of our attendees are 50-50. And then 20%, getting confusing with percentages here, but 1/5 of the people on the call are 80% commercial, 20% residential. And then we have a handful of people that are 80% residential, 20% commercial.
Okay, great. Thank you. Well, for all of you who, for the majority that are commercial, there is going to be some residential in here, and I think that's important because, looks like between the 50-50 and even the 20% residential, there's some of that to go through. But I will focus a lot of this on the commercial side too, to make sure that it's meeting all of your questions. So in the past on some webinars, we have talked a couple different times, and I've shown this graph, and I think it is one of the most important marketing graphs there is. Really, it brings it right down to very simple what needs to happen working with customers. First, you need to attract them. How do you attract them? How do you get them interested in your company? And that is done through marketing with the blog, social media, community involvement, search engine optimization, obviously your website, and your reputation. All of those things will attract customers to you. And then as they visit your website, as they look at your advertising, maybe pick up the phone to make a call, you begin to convert them into leads. And as the leads come in and your salespeople go into action, then you're able, through emails and through different types of communications, through visits into the home or visits with the building owner or the trade shows, you're able to close those customers, gain the sale, and they become, at that point, because of the great experience they've had with your company, they become your promoter. That's the best scenario, and that's what we want to see happen every day. But what that takes, what I believe that takes, and what we see successful in the field every day, is a strong collaboration between sales and marketing. In fact, even though it's marketing that begins the process, true promoters of your business are forged through the sales process. It's really critical that they work together, consistent messaging, consistent branding, so that from the very beginning, through all the way through that close, through the job, you are creating trust. Because in the end of the day, if a customer can't trust your brand, if they can't trust your company, they will never promote you. But if they trust it, they're excited, then they will tell everyone. And that's what we want. That's what we need at the end of the day for success. And that experience has to continually happen at every stage. So like we talked about, it will start in the marketing, and then as they're sitting there with the salesperson, that trust needs to continue. But it needs to be consistent with what you've already said through your website or through your marketing. By doing that, by having that consistency, that kernel of trust begins, that seed begins to grow, and the customers start listening to hear what other people are saying also. And those other people, a lot of times, are your employees. How they handle every part of that customer experience is critical. Whether it's in the field, whether it's on the roof, whether it's on the phone, or in person in the office, on top of doing the roof inspections or service and maintenance, every customer experience either builds that customer promoter of your business or takes away a little bit of the trust. So having your employees very engaged and understanding the importance of customer service and that customer experience is crucial to creating long-term promoters. But everything starts somewhere. And the first step, that very first impression, usually starts here with the website. It is so important. I know that there are many contractors who do not have a website. There are many who have older or outdated websites. But in today's world, that first date, that first impression is starting on the website. So I would encourage, as you look at that first step to creating long-term promoters, step back, look at your website again. When you look at your website, look at it as if you're that customer, as if you're the promoter. Would you promote this website? Would you say to your neighbor or your friend or your business colleague, hey, check out this site. Look at it. They really do great work. Look at some of the job profiles. If your site is not doing that, then it is worth the investment to take the time to have it either get one or have it upgraded. I've worked with contractors who actually are amazing commercial roofing contractors, and when I went to their website, they had a residential house on the home page. And it didn't really make sense because that's not what they're selling. Yeah, maybe they do a couple of, really high-end homes for their best building owners or their best customers, but their mission, their core values is all about commercial roofing. It's about working with those building owners or national accounts, yet they're showing homes. So sometimes those are the things that get lost, especially if a company who's developing your website doesn't understand the industry. You want to make sure that when you look at it, you are thinking through the eyes of your customers. And have your sales team look at it too, because they're living every day with those customers. And so they'll see what's on that site, and then be sure to share that with, make sure that marketing is a part of that so it all comes together. Once you get that brand, and you probably already have a strong brand from word of mouth, from your local community, but as you start to take that brand and really message it and put it into your website and into your marketing, you need to make sure that it's consistent all the way through your collateral. So you want to look at, what are you doing on the internet? What directories are you in? What activities, what sites are you involved, partnered with? Are you doing television advertising? Are you doing magazines? Are you doing newspapers? Whatever you are doing with your local BOMA or with your local shopping centers, however you're communicating, make sure that that matches your website. So start there and make sure everything is consistent. The reason why is it creates a sense of comfort. So as a consumer, when I look at companies that I want to purchase from, I don't want to see willy-nilly branding. And it maybe for most of us is subconscious, but we will look at that and it takes a little bit away from that sense of trust. Consistency creates trust. Very important. And as you look at your collateral too. Your printed materials, your trade show booth, everything that you're doing. How does that create a consistent message, a consistent brand, a consistent look and feel so that your customers have this sense of comfort? And in this day and age, you need to go one step further. What are you doing mobile? Is your website mobile friendly? Are you using apps from vendors or manufacturers or distributors? Often you can actually brand or customize those apps. You can make sure that your website works well on a phone or an iPad. Those things, mobile optimization, again, consistency. So as that building owner has looked you up at your website and now they want to show somebody at a local BOMA meeting and they whip out their phone to show them the website to refer you, it's consistent. It works well and they can see it. And using the technology to be able to really impress your customers is important. There is such great technology, from aerial imagery to software for your programming to portals, which is exactly what I'm seeing a lot of commercial contractors using. Portals are amazing technology for commercial roofing contractors. When you are working with your software, whichever software it may be out there for your CRM or for your project management, for your overall, one of the questions that you need to ask is, do you provide portals? And a portal is a place for your customers to come in and view their jobs. So if they have multiple buildings, they are able to go in and they are able to look at each job and see the progress. They're going to be able to see the history. They're possibly able to see aerial imagery of that building. That makes a huge difference because they can do it anytime. And for many of the millennials, this is how they want to communicate. They want to be able to get that information at midnight and be able to have it for a presentation the next morning without always having to make a call. But as you're looking at these portals, as you're looking at these softwares, I'm going to take it right back again because you're creating promoters because they're going to talk about it and they're going to be so excited. But you want to make sure the experience, the look, the feel, the branding is all there. That it is a great experience for them as they're using your technology, as they're looking at the jobs, as they are seeing all the great craftsmanship that you're offering, that they are able then to share that and to have a real sense of comfort that it is consistent and that it works. So one of the ways to make sure that this all happens is you need to make sure your marketing person, inside or out, however you're doing your marketing, whoever is doing that they are involved with the sales team. Many times I have seen marketing on one side of the building and sales on the other side of the building. And what happens is there's confusion. They are not lockstep working together. And what you really want is you want that marketing person to support sales. The only way they can support sales is to understand the goals of that sales team. Maybe this month the sales team is they're going to get some extra bonuses by selling more service and maintenance. And that is the goal this month. Well, if your marketing person is promoting single-ply or new roofs to new construction, and your sales team is out talking to your current customers and pushing a service and maintenance program, things aren't working together. But if that marketing person is in the meetings, is part of it, get them on the roof. Make sure that they are a part of everything that's going on with your sales team and your operations. Then they can truly understand how to message and brand the company and really relate and put out there your core values and make sure that they are supporting and helping the sales team to hit the goals that you need for your business. So important, and it's probably one of the biggest things that I see that gets lost, is that marketing person is not involved. And when they are involved, great things happen. Following that, it is very, very important that your sales team, that your service managers, whoever is out in front of your customers understands and embraces the marketing. So they use the branding, they use the messaging. I'm sure once or twice many of you have seen where a salesperson maybe has developed their own PowerPoint. They may even have their own forms because they, at the moment, it works for them. And that's really what happens at the moment. What needs to happen for long-term success of the company is that everything is consistent, that everything works together. And so as the sales team works with that marketing team, then the PowerPoints, the presentations are consistent. They're using the forms, they're using the collateral, they're directing them to the website, to the forms. So all of that works together, and it creates a great brand loyalty for the customers, past, present, and future. And it also really ties in to what that individual communication too. So for really to create those promoters, to keep them engaged, obviously your sales team is doing a tremendous amount of follow-up. They're keeping them informed, whether it's through email, text, phone, portal. That people want to know what's going on. When are the materials going to be delivered? When is the job going to be finished? When's it going to start? All of those types of communications are critical. The marketing team should be involved with that because the branding, making sure that your email signature is consistent with the company, making sure maybe they are able to collect the cell phone numbers to be able to do those texts. There's systems, like we talked about before, with CRMs, customer relations management software, that is going to be very important to be able to collect that data. If it's living all in a salesperson's phone and not in the overall system, you've lost a lot of opportunity. And if it is just emails are going out and do not look consistent with the company, you've lost a little sense of trust. Again, subliminal, but it adds up, and it's very important. So as we're talking about the customer relations management software, this is a perfect time of year. You are going into winter. This is the time to do some research because this will be a cultural change for your company if you do not already have one. And it's important that you find the right one that fits for your type of business, for how your process is, for your culture. And making sure that all employees are engaged and embracing the CRM. It is hard when a marketing team is maybe putting all the leads in, but sales possibly is not putting the information back in on how that lead went. Then you can't evaluate, okay, well, maybe we're getting the wrong leads. As information from marketing is going out to all past customers, if there's no response put back in, no analytics, you don't know if you're doing the right things to keep nurturing and building those promoters of your business. So having a good CRM system is very important, and it's going to only become more important in the future. It's really the basis of your email campaigns. It's the basis of all the data, of phone calls, texts, emails, you name it, Christmas cards, all of those things. Those addresses, the contact information is critical, but also what is really critical is that every member of your team, from marketing, sales, production, finance, that everyone is using it and inputting, because again, now everyone has that information and you are able to keep getting in front of those past customers and making sure that you are nurturing them and that they are staying someone who's going to refer your company long-term brand loyalty and promotion. So we've talked a lot through the last couple webinars about the leads, sales calls, the follow-up we just talked about, conversion and sale. So now we've got all these customers. We've got all these customers who are just amazed with you. They love the craftsmanship. They love how the service and maintenance. They love how you've taken care of them and how you continue to take care of their buildings or their homes. So how do you stay in front of them? How do you keep them engaged so that they're promoting your business and referring you? So before we go to that next step, which brings me back to my favorite chart, Brad is going to do one more poll because we're just kind of curious how many of you in the audience have some of the tools that I've been talking about. So Brad?
Yes, just launched the second poll. Sorry, the question is, which marketing channels do you currently utilize? So go ahead and choose any or all of those that apply. I'll give you a few more seconds, and Heidi, I'll let you know how they responded.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Brad is just pretty dang wonderful for all of you out there. I'm sure you've heard him before, but he runs all of this for the NRCA, the webinars every week, and is just amazing to work with. So if you see him at any of the trade shows or in the webinars, give him a high five.
Thanks, Heidi. I guess, what do I owe you for that? Now, they might be tired of hearing my voice every week. They might need something new.
I doubt it.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close the poll now. Most of you had a chance to vote. I'll share the results here. It looks like nearly everybody on the call or on the webinar, Heidi, at least utilizes a website. A little more than 80% also use social media, 70% advertising, about 2/3 have a marketing coordinator, and about 60% utilize CRM software.
Great. Okay, perfect. Because all of these things are going to be important. If they were important in gathering the leads and closing the sale, they're just as important in building your promoters. So that is wonderful to hear. Please take the time to look at your website, social media, and advertising for consistency. And also, as you're going into this winter, look at possibilities of getting some information about the many really good roofing CRMs that are out there. So, but I'm going to talk a little bit again. Really, this chart, even though this is about attracting new customers, it's also about attracting your past customers. And it's really about taking those customers who have had a fantastic experience with you with a new roof, ongoing service and maintenance, and continuing to stay in front of them so that they not only promote your business to other companies, to other neighbors, friends, but that they also are continually aware that you may be offering other services and other types of things that you can do for them, maybe even other referrals to other types of trades. So as you're looking at, as we go into this next section, you're again going to be attracting the attention of those past customers. You're going to be converting them to promoters, closing them possibly on new services, and delighting them with all the great things that you're doing as a company in your community and in your industry. So one of the first things to look at really is how are you staying in touch with them? So this seems very basic, and I'm sure you all do this already, but make sure you get their email address. You need their email address. Obviously, you're going to have their physical address, but staying in front of them with an email marketing, maybe that's a quarterly newsletter that really talks about, depending on whether you're residential or commercial, talk about the things that you know are important to your customers. And your sales team, they understand the pain. They understand because they're sitting there and they're working on the objections that your customers have. So what do they need to know about? What kind of articles can you share that your sales team that can then use to fight objections, to get over hurdles? Those are the type of things that should go into your newsletter because they read it and they say, oh, these are the experts. They understand. And so whether that is an email that goes out, maybe targeted to just customers that have some interest in solar, or maybe it's in the quarterly e-news, or maybe it's your blog. And blogs are great. Blogs can be should be connected with your website, and there is so much information out there that you can get through the NRCA, through your vendors, through your distribution. They have articles that are important to your building owners, that are important to your facility managers, that will help educate them, whether that be on new types of products, solar, or new types of roofing or green roofing, or if it is about, that fall inspection and that service and maintenance and how you can extend the life and really take care of them. Or maybe it's talking about the differences in warranties and why they should be looking for this type of warranty. All those types of topics will make you the expert to your customers and continue to keep you top of mind. And if email, that's a less expensive way to go, but every once in a while, maybe think about sending out something in the mail too. Good old-fashioned way, but make it a little bit different. Maybe it is a tip sheet that they can keep on their desk. Maybe it's something nice during the holidays. Whatever you do, and I'm sure many of you do holiday gifts, but think about, is this some sort of gift that is going to help keep you top of mind to that customer all year long? And how are you helping them find success, whether they're a facility manager, a purchasing agent, or a building owner, or a homeowner? How are you making their life easier and better? And kind of remind them of that. There are, like we talked about, getting out there through the email, but don't forget the relationships, the one-on-ones, and being a part of your community and your professional organizations can make a huge difference. It's one thing for you or your salespeople to talk about your company and your employees to talk about your company, which I feel is incredibly important. But it's also amazing if you can get people in the community to talk about it. If you are willing to offer and donate scans talking about the roof, talking about urban planning, Chamber of Commerce, get involved and be that reference point. Habitat for Humanity. There are so many ways that you can be involved in your community, and then you become that reference. You become that referral. This lady who's sitting in this picture is talking about urban planning in this tiny house. Well, you may not be really interested in a tiny house, but she's going to talk about the importance of the roof and then mention your company's name. Those are the type of things, if you can get other people, other experts, other industry professionals to talk about your company in front of committees, in front of other groups, that is very strong. Those testimonials, that referral is incredible. So as your salespeople are out in the field, they shouldn't be afraid to ask. As your marketing person's out there, don't be afraid to ask. I've asked many times as speakers are saying, hey, can you mention our company? I think it really would be a benefit to your audience. And sometimes they say yes, sometimes they say no, but it's never offensive, and it always has a great upside. But there are many communities, as we know, and within your local community, but there's also the social media community. And that social media community is a great way to maintain engagement of those past customers and future promoters. So one of the things that is important is, first of all, and we're going to talk about this in just a little bit additionally, but know your social media. Look at your business. If you're residential, Facebook is amazing. Instagram is really gaining ground. Those are the type where you think about your audience and what they're looking at. What are they engaged in? Ask them. But also make it fun, because one of the things that will happen as you keep promoters, you want to keep them engaged. And even though we all may want to talk about roofing all day long, they probably don't. They want to know what you're doing, your company's doing in the community. They want to know how you're involved. They may want to know what's happening on that high-rise or that 5-story building downtown, and you're going to tell them, and you're going to answer some questions of neighbors and the community that is curious. So they'll come in and they'll look at it. They'll get information that way. Be willing to share what's happening. You may not think that roofing is very exciting, but they do, because they're down below watching you and wondering what's happening. So make it entertaining. Get involved with some of the groups out there. One group that I think is just amazing that does some great work is No Roof Left Behind. And basically they use social media to help give free roofs away. And it is a win-win-win. It's a win for the people who are in need. It's a win for your company because of the exposure and the goodwill within the community. And it's usually a win for your vendors and manufacturers who are also involved. So look for those types of events that really ask for engagement from your audience. And then they get excited. Everyone likes a contest. Everybody likes to put their 2 cents in. And that's a great way to use Facebook. And as we're talking about that and about the charity, whether it's Habitat for Humanity or Roofing Together or whatever group that you're involved in, community service really has a huge ROI. We're seeing it more and more. I'm going to give an example. There's a company out of LA called Antis Roofing, and they are doing huge amount of cause marketing. And basically, they are very involved with some charitable organizations, and they talk about it, and they're involved in it. And they're doing it because it means something, and they know it's the right thing to do. But business follows, because people want to do business with companies that are doing something. So as you're looking at your budgets, as you're looking at keeping these promoters, keeping them involved, think about community service. Think about charitable activities, because that is something that pulls people in, and it can fit with your core values of your company and your employees. It is a great way to keep those past customers engaged with what you're doing. And from that, you'll find recommendations. It just really all circles back around. As you're engaged with them, they're going to be engaged with you, making recommendations and doing referrals. As you can see from this study, 84% of respondents believed that you are a better trusted source when it comes from word of mouth from other people, not just from you. So the marketing and the sales team need to engage and nurture all of these people who are going to talk about your company, how great you are, how involved you are, and what you're doing. And it grows on itself. And as we talked about before, there's going to be different mediums to share that. So as commercial contractors, a majority on this webinar, really I would say look at LinkedIn. LinkedIn and Twitter, but I'm a believer in LinkedIn. It is a place where you can network with professionals in your, you should be linked up with all of the building owners, with all the facility managers. Make it a goal for your sales team and your marketing team. How many folks can they get involved with your LinkedIn account? How many people how many professionals are reading your posts, are reading your education? Because this is the place where you can continually engage them. They may be getting their RSS feeds because they want to find expert information, and you're the one who can do that through your blog and then taking that blog and posting it on LinkedIn. And also taking the time to use things like Sales Navigator to find those building owners, to find the facility managers. It is a great way for sales and marketing to work together. Twitter is the millennials, and I'm continuing to see it. Those young people who are coming out of college, who are in the cubicle and doing purchasing, they're looking at Twitter. They're looking at YouTube. They're trying to figure out what is a roofing system. Be that expert. Make sure that you're posting on that medium too, because it's not just about the good old boys network. This is about a lot of young people coming up who are going to be engaged and who you're going to need to educate and become the expert from your company to theirs. And moving outside that technology community, it's really about your community. And so who are the industry professionals that can be referrals for you? One of the things that I've seen with real success are the contractors who partner with roofing get to know the other trades who are calling on the same customers. Understanding that you're part of many trades, many professionals, many consultants who are working with that building owner, and you want them talking great about your company. You want them to be a promoter of your company. So having your salespeople spend time with a roofing consultant who possibly will then use you and your company as the contractor is incredible. It takes time, and you have to be willing to put that time in, but I've seen commercial roofing companies who do this with great success. And it becomes, instead of a competitive field, it becomes a partnership. It becomes a win-win. And the building owner really is the one who wins at the end. So as you look at it and you look at the industry professionals, make sure that your sales team, your marketing team, make sure they're in your CRM. Make sure they're part of that network of who you're talking and socializing with as you go to industry events. And then as you look at that, as you look at these maintenance programs, as you look at these different groups within the industry, think about what you are offering. What are some things, how can you differentiate your business in order to bring value? You have all these promoters now. You have all these great customers and all these great leads. What else do they need? Do they need a service and maintenance program? It is one of the best ways to stay in front of that building owner for a very long time. Are they looking at new energy? Are they looking at solar? Are they looking at green? What are they doing? Finding out that information, finding out what their needs are, getting that in the CRM, and then working to grow your business through that differentiation is key. And that's where your sales team comes in. They're up there. They know what those building owners are looking for. Is it right for you? Does it fit the core values of the company? It's well worth the discussion. And anything that you do that way, does it help you stay in front of that customer? That's why service and maintenance programs are so popular and doing such a great job, because you really are taking care of that customer year-round and delivering them the information and the expertise that they need from your company. So taking one more step into the next community, and that's your employees. Your employees are your best salespeople. And I'm not talking about just your sales team. I'm talking about every single person that you employ in your company. Every single person is involved somehow, probably in schools, in churches, in clubs, in their own neighborhood. They all have contacts. They have many people that they talk to every day. So making sure that your employees understand your marketing, your messaging and branding, what the sales goals and objectives are, what's happening in the field with your production. What are the great successes? What was that amazing project that just got highlighted in the newspaper because it was on the historical building in town? Making sure that even monthly or through bulletin boards or internal your own social group within your company, you need to make sure that they understand exactly what you're trying to do and that they love it and that they are engaged in it, because they will then go out into the field and they'll talk about it. And they'll talk about your company, and they'll talk about how much they love their job, and they'll say, when roofing comes up, oh yeah, you got to use us. We're the best. This is how it works. And you do that, again, through that communication to the employees, obviously, but also by highlighting them. You know, highlight those employees, because they're the ones that your customers are meeting. The relationship is built between that building owner and that salesperson. Make sure that that building owner has information. Some maybe, you know, what are their hobbies? What's, you know, something in the newsletters or something on the blog highlighting and talking about your different employees. That is important. Who was that supervisor on the job that that facility manager really bonded with? They're going to want to know, and they're going to want to know how that is working within your company. So those types, really helping to nurture those relationships, nurtures the relationship of that business and your company. And so by taking the time through the marketing and sales to educate your employees and also highlight your employees makes really helps with that brand loyalty and helps keeping those promoters engaged and excited about your company. And really at the end of all of this, all of these ideas, you're talking about brand loyalty. People who love your company, who talk about it, who refer you, who recommend you, and who have a long-term relationship, and they believe in that you're the company they want to do business with. And your employees are making that happen. So that concludes the part of this webinar on promoters. I do want to mention that this actually, a lot of this comes out of a book, Sales and Marketing for Roofing Contractors, that my friend and professional colleague Karen Edwards and I wrote together. And it is for sale through NRCA, through the marketing resources. But we will also be doing more on the commercial side of this too, because there's a lot of exciting things happening, and I hope you all enjoyed this webinar today. And if you have any questions, now would be the time.
Thank you, Heidi. Yes, if you do have a question, we still have some time left, so feel free to enter that now. In the meantime, a few closing notes. As we mentioned before, today's webinar is just part 3 of a 4-part series presented by Heidi. So the final presentation will take place in December, and that will be a webinar on resources and budgeting. And again, I'll mention that today's webinar is being recorded and will be posted to the NRCA website next week. Also, please do check out our upcoming webinars, including next week's on utilizing valuable rooftop real estate for sustainable gains. And in 2 weeks, we have a presentation which will be an overview of the Department of Labor's new overtime rule. So if those topics don't necessarily fall into your realm of work, if they do, great, please join us. If not, please pass them on to the appropriate people in your company that would be interested. You can register for those future webinars and also view past recorded webinars at nrca.net/webinar. Let's see. We do have a few questions that have come in, Heidi. All right, so I think I lost audio there for a second. Sorry, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so the question is, how do we find and work with a roofing consultant? And then to elaborate on that, how do we make, from the same person, how do we make the relationship sound mutually beneficial?
Great question, great question. Well, first of all, in almost every large city, and even some small cities, you're going to find an RCI chapter, Roofing Consultants Institute. Join the RCI, go to their meetings, get to know the consultants in your area. It is a great way to network, to hear what they're working on, maybe some leads there, and to also start finding out what are some of the issues, what are some of their concerns, and how can you address those, how can you bring solutions to what they're seeing with their building owners. And really, there are many relationships with a building owner where they maybe need more than what you are doing. It maybe is they need the whole exterior, they need the building envelope, and they need someone to really come in and do full inspections, maybe some forensic work. There is a lot of opportunity there then that you can refer consultants who are referring you. So it becomes one of those things that you are helping each other's business because you believe in each other. And that takes time to really find those consultants that match your core values. And that's by attending those meetings and getting to know them. It's usually you will also on job walks. There may be roofing consultants in the past. Sometimes there's been some friction, not in the past, probably right now there's some friction out there, but that is one that if you can overcome that and start seeing all sides of it and really giving them the work that is in their wheelhouse and you take the work that's in your wheelhouse and you work together, it can make a real difference. So if you just put in Roof Consultant Institute into Google, you'll come up to RCI and you can find out what's going on with your local chapters or regions.
Thank you, Heidi. And those are all the questions that have come in to this point. So if you do think of something, Heidi's contact information is on the screen in front of you. And like Heidi mentioned, please do check out the marketing resources page on the NRCA website, where you can find links to resources, including the book that Heidi co-authored. All right, that's all we have for today. So thank you, Heidi, very much for your time.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you to all of you who took time out of your day to join us. We hope you all have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon, hopefully. Have a great day, everyone.